汇集天下大事，聚焦华人热点。西雅图中文电台网络电视。
Good things that happen here. So first of all, do we have any elected officials in the audience? I would like to recognize you if you'd raise your hand if you are here. I think we had some earlier. They're very important to achieving our goals, so I wanted to make sure that we gave them. Let's give them a round of applause. They'll hear it here. A really big thank you to the White House Task Force for taking acknowledging us and coming here to work with us on this project, particularly to Felicia Menard, who you're going to hear from a little bit. It is so wonderful to have the support that we have at the national level from Washington, D.C. It makes everything that we do that much easier. So I think it's very exciting to do this in Immigrant Heritage Month. We just don't get a month on immigrant heritage, because that is about what the United States is about. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you for choosing the United States as a place to come from, because you will be making us a better country in so many ways. More creative, more energetic, more compassionate. It's what makes our country great now, and it's what will help us continue to be a good place to live going forward. It's what you bring to us. So thank you very much for choosing us. I'm delighted that you're here, and hope that we can make this a great decision for you and the place that you want to be, and be ready to welcome the next wave of immigrants who are coming in the next 10 and 20 years. So on behalf of the city, you are making our city better, and I'm very happy and thank you that you are here. So I think without that, I think I will turn it. Am I going to introduce Felicia Menard now? Or no? Oh, I know. So I could do it. So Mayor Murray had a very big vision of some leadership in our Office of Planning and Community Development, who would be able to work with all kinds of communities around the city. We looked all over the country and found the absolute spectacular person to do this, who I would like to introduce to you now. I would like to introduce you to Sam Sefa, who is our new Director of the Office of Planning and Community Development.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you, Ku. I'm very delighted to be here, not only because I'm an immigrant myself, but because of the value of having a city that celebrates immigrants and celebrated for a whole month. I started my kind of adult career and life at 16 years old as a refugee in Kenya. I left Ethiopia in 1975 because of a military coup that disrupted a normal way of life. Kenya was my home for quite some time as a refugee, and my dream has always been to come to this country and study and improve my life, not only save my life, but thrive as I move to my future career. So that's what brought me here, and since I've been here, one of the most important things that I have valued all throughout my career has been the experiences that I've had in many other countries, whether it's Kenya or traveling through Europe or going to school with many different kinds of people. I went to a high school in Kenya at the international school, and my graduating class was from 20 or 18 different countries. And 6 of us are to this day, since the 70s, are the best of friends, and we are from 5 different countries: Austria, Sweden, Ethiopia, Chile, and America. And that really shaped my thinking about how I think about places or the work that I do. And one of the things that attracted me coming to Seattle was, as the deputy mayor expressed, the mayor's vision about the new department. City planning departments affect many lives in cities. The decisions that are made in planning departments affect every one of us, because everything you see around you, or access to resources or places that you live, are, from a policy perspective, decided in the planning department. What is very visionary about this mayor and this new department that attracted me is one of the central pieces of that is that recognizing that people who are not at the table when decisions are made or when policies are formed are the people who actually suffer at the end of the results of the policy decisions. And his vision is that if we're going to plan for the future of Seattle with the changes that are coming and the growth and development, that we need to have the voices of all people at the table. And I guess when the deputy mayor say research everywhere, the reason not only that I'm interested in is the reason I was qualified for that position is that background history that I had growing up in different parts of the world. And that is what I'm looking forward to working with you in terms of how we get many voices at the table when policy decisions are being made. It's not just to do good, but it's economically very good for the city of Seattle. One of the attraction that the current economic attraction for places like Seattle, the reason is part of it is the diversity of cultures that a city like Seattle has. So we need to recognize that and get people at the table as we plan for the next 20, 30, 40 years. So I'll be working with many of you in policy decisions at the planning department, and I want you to call my office, and my door is open. I want to hear from you, as well as for me to go out into the neighborhoods and understand the challenges and the issues that I have to think about within the department and work with the mayor and city officials to actually address some of those challenges. So with that, I'm very glad to be here and addressing you, and I'm very excited to get going in this new department. Thank you.
In case you haven't already read this or heard this, Sam's joining the city is historic. He is the first East African cabinet member in the city's history, and for that we're very proud. So I've heard many of you say or ask, who are the White House people? Now you get to see them and meet them, and I hope you're not introverts, because I think a lot of people are interested in talking with you. Felicia and Manar have been working on the White House Task Force now for well over about 1.5 years, is that right? They've traveled to a lot of places, they've talked to a lot of people, they've held summits, and it's been remarkable to me to watch how much this White House has moved the needle on these issues, especially in a time when we do not have the leadership that we need from our members of Congress. And they recognized early on that it's going to be up to us, everybody in this room, people in cities and states who are going to need to make a difference and change the lives that we need to change. And we are incredibly honored and grateful for the opportunity to work with you. And I wonder, Felicia, if you just might share a few words.
To really create and further work in the immigrant and refugee integration space through our White House Task Force on New Americans throughout the entire administration, but more formally when the Task Force on New Americans was created in November of 2014. And I can tell you, I've been working on immigration for 16, 17 years now. I've worked on the issue at the state level, worked on the issue as an advocate, as well as someone who worked on Capitol Hill, the Senate during the 06 and 07 immigration reform debates, and now for the last 7 years at the White House. It's been a wonderful experience. All of my all of my experiences working on this issue, but I have to say that the work of the task force is really, from our perspective, very meaningful. It's planting seeds in so many communities and trying to help foster inclusivity, foster welcoming, bring people together from all kinds of sectors, because this is something that is so important to our country's past, present, and future. So we've had a great time here in Seattle. We had a good discussion over the last few hours, and now we're able to socialize with more of the community, and so we really appreciate the welcome you've given to us and the welcome you're giving to immigrants and refugees every day here in the city. So thank you very much. We have highlighted Seattle in some of our publications. We have a strategic action plan that we put out last April, and then last December we put out a progress report of the work we're doing, but also we highlighted the work that's happening all over the country to promote welcoming and integration policies. And we highlighted Seattle in a number of different areas because of all the good work coming out here, going on here. And so as we were deciding where we were going to go as a part of our White House Task Force on New Americans regional convenings, we knew that we had to come to Seattle, and so it was a really great decision. It's a great place to kind of, we kicked off in Los Angeles and we've gone to 10 communities, including Seattle, so you all are our closing city, and it was a really great way to close off all of these sessions. We continue to take everything that we're hearing from people in the community and thinking about in our last few months of the administration what we can do to continue to support your work. We have a boss that has told us that we have to work until the very last day. He's not taking any breaks in the next few months in terms of continuing the work that he set off to do 8 years ago. And it's been a real joy to do this work for him, and we want to make sure that you're continuing to do the work that you can, and we're supporting you in whatever way we can. We have a number of federal agency staff that attended today's convening. There's some of them are still in the room. Maybe they can wave their hands so you can see who they are if you haven't talked to them. The task force has over 15 federal agencies, White House offices involved in it. So there are a bunch of people at the federal level that want to continue to support your work. And even when the president is gone, a number of these folks are career civil servants that have given their lives to these issues, and so they will still be with you, and we want to make sure that you continue to make those connections with them in your work that you're doing every day. So thank you so much for having us and for hosting this wonderful reception to end all of our convenings. We really appreciate it and are happy to continue the conversation after the formal program ends. So thank you.